Welcome to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Hey, that's me. Hi, and welcome to Positive Talk. Our show features the best positive stories and people from around the globe as we endeavor to answer the universal question of why am I here and what is my purpose? Understanding that can change everything, and knowing your greatness is fundamental to living your best life. So join us right now as together we work to create the adventure of our lifetime. You know, it's awfully nice to be able to talk to a true professional, creative person who is doing good in the world and is really trying to make a difference. And we're talking with that young gentleman with us today. His name is Jeff Peterson. And you can go to morethanafilm.com to find out more about the work that he's doing, the film that he has created, and or go to just J. Peterson Productions. And he's on YouTube and he's all over the place. Jeff, how are you? It's great to talk to you today.
Man, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. Really do appreciate it.
It is really, really awesome. Now, you are a good friend of my good friends, the Jacksons. I call them the Jackson Five.
Yes, sisters Jay and Mary, Lily, Elizabeth. Yes.
Yes, and they had a hand in helping with this production, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I wanted to ask you, how did you get into filmmaking and decided that this was how you were going to make your mark in the world?
Well, it started a few years ago. I was doing podcasts just like you are, and I had a message from somebody, one of my guests, that told me to go check out these guys that are making a movie with a lead actor that has Down syndrome, and that hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized I didn't know anything about Down syndrome at all, and so I started learning more about Down syndrome and how I could help them, with their movie. They're raising funds for their movie and stuff. And the more I learned about Down syndrome, the more I wanted to know. And it just kind of spun off from there. You know, I told the director at the time, I said, I have an idea for a short film. I'm not sure if it's ever been done before or not, and I just wanted to get your take on it. So I told him the idea. And out of that birthed my first short film, More Than a Diagnosis. And that's kind of how it started, just kind of gradual. And I'm like, what a better way to bring awareness out than filmmaking, and awareness about Down syndrome and special needs and stuff than filmmaking.
Well, I am so glad that you're doing this, because I got to tell you, Jeff, I'm a little older than you. And I remember a time in the 60s, I live in the Seattle area. There was a time in the 60s, there was something called the Fircrest School. And they called it the Fircrest School, but basically it was where they housed people with Down syndrome.
Right.
Because in those days, this is the 60s and even early 70s, it was not considered appropriate to having Down syndrome people out in the population. So they tended to warehouse them in these facilities. And to this day, I never was able to go in there. My mother volunteered for a little bit, but it just seemed to me like they're people too. Why can't we all get along and figure out how to make it work? So I'm glad you're doing this, because even to this day, I'm sure you know this, there are lots of people who, if you haven't come in contact with somebody or a family that has Down syndrome, and it does affect the whole family, then you really don't understand what they're all about, and the extra steps they have to go. But also the thing that, and hopefully during the show at one point, I want to play Breathe, which is the film that the music video that sisters Jay did, and it features people with Down syndrome. And what struck me about that was they are happy.
Yeah.
They're great. They're great people. And just because they're different doesn't make a difference. Is that kind of what you discovered as you went down the road?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many the community itself is so much bigger than I even realized. And the majority of them are basically really happy with their lives. I mean, they have all the emotions that everyone else does. But I think a common thing I've found too is they want to spread happiness more than ever. You know, they love to see you smile. They love to just be around people. They love people, and they just want to be, they don't want to be looked at or stared at. They just want to be like everybody else, but the I've been at a few conventions where there's a lot of people with Down syndrome, and the whole aura, vibe, whatever you want to call it, is so much different than you've ever been to any other convention, where most general conventions are, kind of stuffy and long. This it, I was just like floored, because there's so much laughter, so much happiness, even though, there's meltdowns, there's everything. But overall, they're the most wonderful people I've ever come in contact with ever in my life.
Well, as you know, we all we all have meltdowns from time to time,
Yeah, yeah, we all experience all those things.
and they just are. It's more like, I think, that their filter is not there,
Right.
and so they're more expressive in all ways,
Mhm.
including being happy
Yeah.
and being loving and being caring, and
Mhm.
also when they're angry, they're angry.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yep.
And
Yeah.
so you decided to make a couple of films around that, a
Yes.
couple of short stories. So the one that you've got one that's about ready to come out, which it wasn't always like this, is the name of the
Yeah, it
film.
wasn't always like this. We're hoping to raise enough funds to be able to start filming next year. We haven't started filming. We just filmed the teaser trailer, which is what you've seen, to give you a glimpse of what the film will be like. My first short film, it's kind of a spin off of this, that's been out for a little over a year now. So
How's it been doing? Have you entered it in some film festivals?
yeah, actually, it's got a couple. This one has a couple more to go through, and it's been in one in New York, and it won an award there. It's gone all over the place. I've lent it out to, not lent it. I should give it out to other organizations. In Uganda, did a showing of it. And Croatia did a big showing of it. California, all over the place. It was just phenomenal. I didn't want to keep all the views to my YouTube channel. I just let if someone wanted to be touched by it, and they wanted to show it, I let them show it. And it's been phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, because basically it shows two different scenarios of a doctor giving a Down syndrome diagnosis to a pregnant mom, how it's typically done, and then it goes into more of a compassionate way of doing it. And that's basically it's only 3 minutes and 21 seconds, which
Wow.
stands for Down syndrome. Down syndrome is a third copy of the 21st chromosome. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, I got a little nod to people there as well, to the community.
Well, exactly. Now, do you know much about that Down syndrome, that third DNA thing, what it does, or
I hardly knew anything about Down syndrome when I first heard about. Yeah, I mean, I've heard about Down syndrome, but when I heard these two guys were fundraising for their own movie with a lead actor that had Down syndrome, that's kind of where it started for me, because I was like, it just kind of blew me away. So I learned more and more about Down syndrome, about everything you can imagine. And how I came up with this idea was one night I was just going through, how we all go through different reels and after reels. And I came through testimony after testimony of all these moms and dads that have gone through a prenatal diagnosis of Down syndrome, and how horrific it was, and most of the time they were pushed to terminate their pregnancy, because the doctor thought they knew best and pushed them that way. And yeah, that's kind of how I got. I don't know much about the scientific nature of the third copy of the 21st chromosome, but I know it's random. There, no one can, even in the medical community or genetic counselors, nobody really knows or has a good guess of why it occurs. It just occurs randomly. One out of 700 births are born with Down syndrome, roughly. So
wow, I had no idea.
yeah.
And in the process of what trimester does this diagnosis come down? Is it the
It can come a lot of times it's the last trimester is when a doctor will push just for any kind of testing to be done. And but there's been many times it's when they've done testing even early in the first trimester, uh, that they've determined that there might be, there's always a might be, or there's different, even during the stages of when you get ultrasounds as a mom, there's a lot, to check on the health of the baby. There's a lot of times they will come across soft markers of Down syndrome. And even though they may or may not be right, most of the time they just guess until they get an actual test done that shows, okay, there's a good chance that you know, your baby will have Down syndrome. But there's been so many times where, and I've heard this, I don't know the number, but there's a lot of times where it's falsely diagnosed, um,
I can
which is
only
heartbreaking.
I can only imagine that if it is falsely diagnosed and the doctor pushes for an abortion and then they find out that the baby was fine, that would be a horribly heartbreaking thing, I would think.
Yeah, a friend of mine that I work with, that happened to her and her brother, and like, you know, and there was no Down syndrome. They're younger, way younger than me, but she told me that her mom was pushed to terminate because they thought there was some markers for Down syndrome. There was no test on. They just thought there was, and of course, mom was like, "No, not only no, but no, no, this ain't
And
happening."
hell no.
Yeah, it's they were and and that's unfortunate that that happens sometimes, even in this day and age, you know, that it still happens that way.
Well, one of our mutual friends, Mary Jackson, she works with special needs children and out of Tennessee. And she they all love her and she all loves them. And I don't think that there are parents out there that would say, unless somebody is physically unable to do anything, that they would say that this is not a life worth having.
Yeah,
So thank you for doing this.
absolutely.
This is really cool. Was it just something that you thought it needs to get out there and I'm the one that's going to do it?
Well, me along with tons of others, and I wish there was more, especially in the filmmaking world, because there's a few films out there that have someone with Down syndrome in it, and but I think there needs to be I don't think there can ever be enough awareness about it,
No.
because it's all the time I'm coming across someone that had no idea. The termination rate is around 70 to 80 some percent plus in the United States alone, and that's a lot. That is a huge amount. Um, these it just blew my mind when I heard about it, and I'm like, when I came across all these testimonies, that was the first time I just went to bed and nearly cried myself to sleep and thought, what can I do about this? What can I do? I don't know if I could do anything, but that's when I came up with this idea to show, because there was nothing, literally nothing out there other than testimonies. There's nothing that depicts what they've gone through. Now, there's some uh, doctors. I have a friend that has a little baby with Down syndrome. She went through a great diagnosis, very supportive medical staff, but it seemed like they're few and far between. Unfortunately, usually it's the other way around. But yeah, that's what's I wanted to see if I could do a little something, and encourage others to do more, get more of the message out there.
I really, really appreciate you doing this. And because quite frankly, I have never been around, now that I think about it, I've never been around a Down syndrome person on a regular basis. I've
Yeah.
seen them and I've met some, but especially a child and a baby. What are these particular challenges of raising a Down syndrome child? You know?
There's all kinds of challenges. Sometimes there's very little, but overall, I would say around half. I don't remember exact percentage. Around half have a heart defect of some type. There's low muscle tone in majority of them, so there's a lot of early intervention and therapy that's needed to they just learn a little bit slower. 1.5 or 2 year old might not be walking yet, whereas another 2 year old may be walking. But it depends on how much early intervention the mom and dad do, and how much resources that they're given at the time. But it's you know it's a lot of just different milestones they learn at their own pace, that kind of
I
thing.
imagine it's kind of like autism and all the other special needs that a lot of children have. And quite frankly, right now in our society, it seems like there are more special needs children out there than ever. Has
Yeah.
that been in your research that you've done? Did that come
I'm
true?
overall, yes, because technology and medical advances definitely over the decades have greatly improved. Um, People with Down syndrome are living longer lives. Back in the 70s, if I recall, they were life expectancy was in the 40s, if I remember right. Now it's in the middle to late 60s. So there's so much advancements in medical and regular technology that's helped them such a great deal that they are living longer and healthier lives. So that's been the good news with it all.
Well, yeah, and hopefully that will continue
Yeah,
because every life has value, and
absolutely, absolutely.
a lot of these people are they're they're joyful and they're
Mhm.
fun and that sort of thing. But let's talk about Jeff the man. Did you grow up wanting to be a filmmaker?
No, not really. When I was real young, like all kids, I think I wanted to be Superman when Superman came out.
Oh, sure.
I'd be laying on my stomach on the piano bench pretending I was flying. I always thought it'd be cool to be in a movie, but now I really don't really want to be in a movie. But it's a process, a bigger process than a lot of people think. Just to even make a short film, let alone something longer or feature length. But yeah, I've never really grown up thinking, oh, I'm going to be the next, Spielberg or anything like that. I just thought it'd be cool to, to be in a movie. I never really, thought about anything else. But like most kids in the day, I always wanted to think it'd be fun to be in one. But
Yeah, but at the same time, when you get a little older and you recognize that when you're in the movie, you have got very little say.
right,
It
you have a
ain't your
script.
movie. It's
Yep,
you have to do what you're told.
yeah,
And if you're someone like me who doesn't do what he's told very well, you're better off doing something like directing or
yeah.
producing or doing something like that. What specifically joyful things do you get out of producing it? What turns your crank about that?
Um, just when one thing I've told somebody once that what it's kind of like, and it's the best analogy I can come up with, is like making puzzle pieces. You make all these little pieces of the puzzle, and then you got to make each one just right, and then you're forming all these puzzle pieces, and then at the end, when you're all done, the puzzle looks beautiful, right? Well, there's always different things that gets in the way, different things that happen, and it's kind of painstaking. But when you look at it at the end, you're like, oh, this is really nice picture. You know, when I did this teaser trailer for this new one, it took me a couple weeks just to do a minute and a half. But it's because it's painstaking. You got to get every little piece just right for it to look like something. And then when you get done, you're like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
you know, it looks like how you wanted it to look. You know,
And by the way, if you
and if
want
it
to
touches people in the process, even better.
oh, exactly. If you want to go look at the trailer, you can go to morethanafilm.com and it's right there. And you can look at it and it's about a minute and a half long, so it's not a huge investment in time. And it's also on YouTube, right?
Hmm.
So
Yep.
if they
When you
go
go
to
when you
what's
when you
your
go to
YouTube
the
channel?
website, just click the click here, and it'll take you right there.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. We need to take a quick break. And by the way, we're talking with Jeff Peterson, an extremely talented filmmaker. And we're going to talk about the music that came with it and that Sisters J put together as well, which is really quite remarkable. You're listening to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, and we will be right back right after this message.
You're listening to Positive Talk Radio. We're going to take a short break to tell you audio and music creators about our commercial affiliate, Lyric Vids, specializing in creating amazing and engaging lyric videos. Are you looking to promote your videos in the most engaging way, but you don't have an animator and an editor? Whether you're an artist, musician, or business with a message to share, our lyric videos are designed to hook viewers and amplify your reach. Go to positivetalkradio.net/lyric vids. That's positivetalkradio.net/LYRICVIDS now to get started. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. We hope you enjoyed learning about our affiliate Lyric Vids, who specialize in creating captivating animated lyric videos. Now let's get back to the show.
And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Nice to have you on board. We have a wonderful show for you today. We've got a great filmmaker who is at the beginning stages of what I predict is going to be a very cool career. And it may not be blockbuster cool, but it may be make you cry kind of cool and make you think kind of cool, because that's the kind of guy that he is. Is that how you would describe yourself?
I don't know if I describe myself in such wonderful words, but I really appreciate that. I try to be a little more humble, but I love it when someone else says that. That's awesome.
Humility is for the humble.
That's true.
That's true. When you are gifted the way that you are, and making a movie, by the way, is very, very difficult. Finding the actors, getting the scripts, getting the lighting correct, getting everything so that, and having the vision. Do you put together like a storyboard before you even begin of how you're going to do it step by step?
Well, the very, very first thing is script. I had this idea, and so I wrote it all out and put it in a script form, and then revision after revision after revision after revision, and on and on and on. I've been writing the script since spring, and I still got another revision I need to do, but I have all of the script mostly done. That's kind of like the blueprint of any film. Anybody can go out there with a camera, but to have a script, to know exactly what, when, where, how, and everything, that's the blueprint. That's the first block. And what I did after that, I had people that I talked to, this wonderful actress, Sharon Lanier. I told her about my idea because I wanted her specifically because she played the doctor in this movie. So I wanted her in this one with that same character. And she just was blown away by the script. So I told her I wanted her to come up to where I'm at here in Nashville. She came from Atlanta to Nashville, and we just filmed. I had little bits of the script pulled out that we filmed, just those little bits, to have a teaser trailer made that I made, so I can show people a little bit of what it might look like, and go from there. So now it's the fundraising process, and then hiring more people once we get enough funding.
Now, if you're anything like me, it's all about the creative process, but there's also a necessary evil, and that's the fundraising process.
Yeah.
And the marketing. Is that something that you find hard, or is that something that you really enjoy doing?
Both, I would say. It's not never easy to ask people for money. But I also like, I can bring out more of my creativity, as well. And like this poster, I made this myself on my phone. I've done a lot of the stuff on my social media all by myself, announcing new cast members, designing the film poster, updating the website. I do all that stuff all by myself because it looks just how I want it to look. And that's kind of fun, but it's a challenge to get out there and keep on with it, and, bring it out there. And hey, any little bit helps. Any, if you had 10, 20, 30, any kind of money, that's not always easy to do, but it is necessary to do, because a good film done right can cost some money, and I don't have enough money to fund all this myself. So some people do, some people invest, some people get sponsors. I'm right now currently looking for anybody that's wanting to help sponsor, anything that would, any level on my website. When you go to the click here, it goes to a give, send, go, which shows the different levels. Like if you just want to give a few bucks, or if you want to give more, shows different levels with different perks on it as well.
Oh, that's cool. And if somebody wants to give you money for this project because they believe in the work that you're doing, because it seems to me that you're funding this for all the right reasons. You're funding this to get something out there that isn't out there currently,
Yeah.
that takes a different viewpoint of a tragic situation in many cases, and works people through it. So if you are somebody that is interested in helping people, let's go through that again. How can they donate to your cause?
And I also like to tell people too, it's not my money. I'm not going to go out and pay my mortgage on it. It's actually illegal. I've created an LLC just for this film. So, because some people are like, well, if I give you money, how do I know it's going for the film? I can guarantee it does. I have a business checking account that is with my LLC, and all you do to give it is to go to the website, click here, and you'll see how you can donate, and you can follow and keep updated. You just click the donate tab on there, and there you go. Pretty easy.
And it is all designed through the LLC so
Mhm.
that it's not your personal income.
Nope.
Doesn't go into your personal checking account. It goes
Nope.
into the LLC's account.
Yep.
And that is government. I mean, you can look at that anytime you want to, really,
Mhm. Mhm.
and stuff. So that's good to know,
Yeah.
because there are, I hate to say it, but it's, we live in such a weird time that
That's
even
very true.
charities, you have to vet
Oh,
to make
yes.
sure that the money that you are paying to the charity actually gets to the charity.
Right. Right.
There are a lot of these that are on TV, the ones that show this cute little dog or something that says for $19 a month, you can save this little animal.
Right.
Well, that commercial costs money to produce.
Mhm.
It costs money to air. And so there's a large percentage of what they're trying to get out there ends up going to the production company and to the television station that's airing it as a commercial, and never get. So some of them are like 5 or 10 cents on the dollar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to be really careful. But because it's an LLC and you're being very transparent about it, so
Mhm.
you're good to go there.
Yep.
And so do that one more time. If somebody wants to donate to the
Yep.
cause,
Just go to it's an easy to remember website as well. It's morethanafilm.com. That's morethanafilm.com. And you'll see the part of the poster at the top, and you'll see the view trailer. Click here. Just click there. It goes right to the give, send, go. And you can watch a trailer from there. You can see the levels of perks. You can hit that donate button. There's a follow button, and there's also a prayer button. That's what I like about Give, Send, Go. It's a Christian company. And if you're like, I just can't give right this week, maybe next week, but you can hit that prayer button, and I know you're praying for this project. And because prayers, they can be worth more than money sometimes. So all times, so if you just want to pray for this project, you just hit the prayer button and follow it. And or you can do all three. You can donate, follow, and pray. No
which,
amount is too
yeah,
small.
no, and what is it like? If a million people gave $1, it's still $1,000,000.
Right. I was gonna say if 100 people gave $10, that's $1,000.
Yeah,
It all goes a long ways. It really does. No matter who you are, and it's a tough climate and culture out there with rising prices and everything. Um, but where I work in a retail supermarket, and my most all the rest of the time, and people still spend the money. There's still money out there, and there's still great causes as well. And so it's a tough economy, but if you know that your money is going to a good cause, it's worth it.
Well, and everybody has to eat.
That's right.
Sadly, there's no way to get around that.
That is true. That is true.
So we're hopeful that the economy can stabilize and we can all do a little bit better. So
Yes,
but that's a political discussion that we should have for
right. That's another day.
Yes. So,
but I know everybody's hit by this. It's a tough time for everybody, and I get that. And it's probably an even tougher time to raise money, But
it is.
The thing I think about is, who wouldn't want some more happiness in their life or see something heartwarming, especially nowadays,
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And it's like the what I want to do now is I need to play the Brushwood station break, but then I want to come back and play Sisters J with their song Breathe In, because they feature a lot of special needs people.
Right.
And you can see it makes you smile.
Yes.
When they're happy and they smile. Can we do that?
Yeah. And if you want to show the trailer, we can show that as well.
I can't. Well, I can show the trailer, but it doesn't. This is for Brushwood Media. It's audio, so it doesn't really, unless you have an audio version of it that we can play as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got the audio version too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
That was so long ago. Well, let's.
I can send it to you quick on the break.
Well, I'll tell you what. I can go find it. But let me do this, and then we'll listen to Sisters J, and then I will find that in the meantime.
Sounds great.
By the way, we're talking to Jeff Peterson. He's a phenomenal filmmaker and all-around good guy. And in his day job, he works in a grocery store. What more can he ask? One of the things we talk about a lot here is that be nice to the people in the grocery stores, because there are a lot of people that aren't. And
that's so true.
And just a little smile, just to say hello, for somebody who's been on their feet 8 or 10 hours a day, and they get, why is the line so long? Why is it taking so, all of that kind of stuff. So, so be nice to people who serve you. That to me is an indication that you are a good human being too. So we'll be right back with Jeff right after this.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
is uplifting. It really is a cool thing, don't you think?
Absolutely.
So now,
I
while
have
we're
to say,
here,
I have to say one thing in that video, and you may not know this, and you'll want to watch it again. Trust me, watch the video again, and look for there's a little girl with little, I think it's pink or red glasses on. Look real close. She's in my new film too. She's in my trailer too.
oh,
Her name is
cool.
Annabelle. I got to give a shout out to her and her mom. They're in my little trailer. But I had forgotten until I was watching it again. I'm like, oh yeah, she's in that little song too. So
Well,
if you're only listening to it, it's one thing, but go check it out. You'll see her on there too.
oh, that's really cool. Now I've downloaded what you sent me, and I hope it's the right thing. So we're just gonna fly by the seat of our pants and tell us about what we're about to hear.
Okay, basically, I'll give you just kind of a gist about what this new short film is. It's called Wasn't Always Like This. It's about a doctor, Dr. Crenshaw, that believes having a child with a disability is too much of a burden for any woman to bear. So she always pushes testing. But when her sister, Shireen, has a high-risk pregnancy, and she refuses testing, beliefs and lives are changed forever. So that's kind of a good, quick synopsis of it, and you'll just see glimpses of the film in this, or you'll hear, glimpses of a lot of what is going on.
Well, let me play it and see what happens here. So I'll cross our fingers and hope that it works. Hold on.
Are we ever ready for a dramatic change in our life? Dr. Susan Crenshaw wasn't.
Something tragic and extraordinary happened to me.
911, where's your emergency?
Yeah, I'm pregnant and something's wrong. I think it's maybe labor pains or something, I don't know.
I'm sorry, your baby has a 1 in 4 chance of having trisomy 21 or Down syndrome. You really need to consider your options. You don't need to be burdened by this. I wasn't always like this, But something happened.
Wait, what do you mean you're sorry?
You see, I lost someone close to me.
Promise me something. Promise me. Seriously, I mean like seriously.
Yeah, of course, anything.
If something happens to me.
Don't tell me that. Don't.
That promise I made you.
No.
Yet I received something I never knew I needed.
Wasn't always like this. To learn more, go to morethanafilm.com. morethanafilm.com.
That is really, really cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And it can be what I'm hopeful that your film is a very positive and has a very uplifting story at the end. Am I correct in that, sir?
I can guarantee you that in writing. Absolutely. It is. It'll make your teeth hurt so bad. It'll be so sweet. The ending is the sweetest thing. You'll need to go to the dentist after this. I'm not even kidding. The ending is just phenomenal sweet. It's a tragedy in the middle of it, but the ending, it couldn't be sweeter. It couldn't be sweeter.
Well, most great stories revolve around normalcy followed by a great tragedy, followed by the recovery and the triumph of the human spirit over what had happened in the past.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better myself. You're 100% right.
Wow. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's so rare that if you listen to my ex-wife, it's so rare that I'm 100% right, but that's a story for another. You know how that goes, but no, it's marvelous that you've done this, and you've really put something really special together, and you're in the let me put it another way. You're in the process of
Yes.
putting something very special together. And I'm really hopeful that someone will reach out with, I don't know, really big pockets, with really big dollar bills in those really big pockets, that can support you in this, because it's a project worth doing.
Mhm.
And a lot of people need to see it.
Yeah, because it's you know, I came up basically with the idea, and I don't think I said this yet. I kept thinking, like, this short film here shows two sides of a doctor giving diagnoses. But I thought to myself, what if there was a story in the middle? What if that doctor wasn't so good at first, but something happened to make her change her mind and start being compassionate? What something would that be? And that's where I came up with this.
We, you know, Jeff, I got to tell you, it's interesting because everybody tends to have an opinion about something, and they have an opinion about stuff they don't understand. As an example, if you grew up in a neighborhood that is all white people, and you've never met a black person in your life, you get a caricature of what a black person might act like or be like that is completely different than reality.
Mhm.
My favorite story is, you know who Liz Cheney is?
Yes.
You know who her dad is?
Yes.
He was vice president of the United States, Dick Cheney.
Mhm. Yes.
There's another Cheney in the family, and he's a Republican, and he is. Hold on just a second. I would love to involve this person in the conversation. And
Hey,
hello, Miss Jackson.
hey, are we
Hold
on
on.
speaker? We're not on speaker, right?
Well, we actually are on the radio.
Oh, hi.
I'm talking with Jeff Peterson.
Oh, hello. How are you? How
Hey,
are you
Mary.
guys?
We're great. We just played Breathe In.
Oh, fun. And I was on there and then had to jump off. But I saw that you were playing the snip from the trailer.
Yes. And we played the audio of that because so that it can be heard on Brushwood a little bit better. And that was great. We're talking to Jeff, but it's really cool that you called in because you are working in Tennessee with the Autism Network and with special needs children and stuff. And that's what Jeff is working. As a matter of fact, I believe you're the one who sent him to me.
I absolutely did. Yes, because you guys are awesome. So I was like, they got to connect. They got to connect.
And we were listening to the background of your song, or the girl's song, Amazing Grace, that was part of that trailer. And they are so talented, it's frightening.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That was my girl singing Amazing Grace, and it's just so, wow, with the trailer, Jeff, it's so amazing, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's breathtaking. It absolutely is. It fit so perfectly.
And
I know.
By the way, I'm not sure that I'm allowed to say this, but I almost made another man cry earlier.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you've heard about this song, but it's called Wind Beneath My Wings, and it's a brand new song that was created by Sisters J. Maybe you know them, and it's completely different, and it almost made him cry.
Well, it makes me cry every time that I listen to that one and Amazing Grace. I get goosebumps and I get tears.
Because these are the type of people that do such incredible work, and you do it all day long.
We try, right? We try, and it's really special. I got to do some of the harmonies on the songs with my girl, so that really was quite a very, one of those sacred moments that we get to have in life. I'll cherish that forever.
Well, and we call you the Jackson 5 around here.
We are the Jackson 5. That's right. and Jeffrey's part of our family, and you are, and we're excited to be a part of Jeffrey's project and just the work that he's trying to do in the world by, bringing awareness and opening eyes and being on that platform of, we have to live a life with love and compassion and acceptance of ourselves and others.
And I was just thinking that in part of the film that he is working on, and by the way, if you want to donate to this, just go to, where do they go, Jeff?
Morethanafilm.com.
Morethanafilm.com. But it just strikes me that, it's like a percentage of the people that are born a certain way. Maybe they're gay or whatever, or maybe they have Down syndrome or whatever. They're still children of God, and they came here for a reason. And we should all honor those reasons, don't you think?
100%. 100%. We are, there's many reasons why people are born with a challenge or what the world says is a challenge. Even, my son was one of like 200,000, less than 200,000 a year that's born with intrauterine growth restriction baby, and they have a lot of developmental delay issues. So he came into this life really challenged. But it's important, no matter what, that our kiddos, they learn to accept themselves, that they're totally cool and okay and awesome however they come into this life. And isn't it that in 2024 we have places in the world where people still hide people who have a disability or a challenge or what the world says is a disability, right? They're shunned, they're killed, they're put in back rooms. Nobody ever talks about it. Terrible.
It's not the way that we should be. We should be helping each other and recognizing that we're all a gift from God. However we get here, however long we're here, we need to appreciate each other and to take care of each other. And that's, Jeff and I were talking about that, and it makes it very, very difficult when there are people that are saying, well, maybe you should terminate the pregnancy. If you think that maybe, this kind of got me when Jeff mentioned this, when you think that maybe, you don't even know for sure, that maybe the baby will have Down syndrome.
Well, and that's the thing, even we were given a diagnosis with my son that he was going to be brain damaged and maybe not walk. And he came out like totally amazing. In the last 6 weeks of my pregnancy, I was seeing a specialist every 2 to 3 days, no lie. And so we were prepared for all this stuff. And then he came out and it was like, okay, he has nothing close to that, So there are those times that, somebody may choose that termination and the child is okay.
And I swear to you, Mary, that kiddo of yours is going to be a stand-up comedian.
Oh my gosh. You should hear what he said to me last night, or my husband and I don't know if I should say it publicly, but oh my gosh.
Well,
he was saying, he says to us at dinner, Thomas Jefferson had 2 wives, right? And my husband and I said, yes. And I said, yes, he did. And I was saying what the 2 wives were. And he goes, no, he really liked to look for the younger ladies. And I said, what? Who said this? His social study teacher said, told him, she said this in class and said, well, we got to talk about it. And they're 11 years old. God.
Well, Mary, I'm sad to tell you that because of the internet and the access of computers and stuff for kids, unless you are tech savvy, you can figure out a way to shut them off, and then they have to go to their friend's smartphone. They know more than we. They know more than we think they do, nor do they want us to know how much they know.
Oh gosh, amen. Yeah. I know. It's crazy, isn't it? But yes, if you are out there and you would love to be a part of a really great project, and I'm sure you guys have already talked about this, but Jeff's film prior to this has won some awards. And, I feel like I know this one is too, because what it touches on and just the way he's doing it and the people involved. And it's an honor that we were asked to be involved in this project. We're very excited, Jeffrey, and just walking this path with you. And, you know, if anybody out there wants to be a part of this and wants to donate and give, because it does cost money to do these things. It's not easy to do them, right? But what a great project to be a part of.
It really is. Jeff, can give us a way to contact you again.
Yes. My contact information is right on the bottom of the website at morethanafilm.com, morethanafilm.com. In fact, my email is right on the bottom. It's the same thing, morethanafilm@aol.com.
So, Mary, this is serendipity. How did you know to call in?
Did you see my tag,
No.
Mary?
I did. Yeah. You know what? Actually, I was doing homework for my son and I got tagged by him and I was like, oh, so I got on live and then I wasn't even sure if y'all were still on or not. And I just, you know, thought I would call. So I took a chance.
Well, I'm so glad you did because, you know, we played Breathe In. And I was.
Well, did you tell everybody that the girls won? They won a gold award for vocal duo of the year 2 weeks ago for that song "Breathe In," which is so amazing.
I would have told them had I known that, but
what? You didn't? I didn't tell you.
Well, I may have been half asleep. I don't know. That was.
I know. Kevin's 2 hours earlier than us, Jeffrey. So sometimes I call him like. Get the cobwebs out of his eyes in the morning.
Exactly. And but isn't that way cool? That is so. Congratulations to the girls. They deserved it, that song. And by the way, Elizabeth wrote that song when she was 16 years old.
She did. She wrote it because when she looked around, she saw not only herself but her friends feeling anxious, having anxiety, and so. She was praying and something, I can't remember the whole story, but it was like those, you know, she felt like God said to her, just calm down and it's going to be okay. Just breathe in. And that's where the song came from. So I think it's such a beautiful story for such a young person to write. And then all these years later, you know, we connect with Ted Perlman and it goes from sort of a slow ballad, you know, and then it turned into more of a pop song. And actually Ted and the girls are going to be next Tuesday, the 10th. We're going to be no, that's not the 10th, the 11th. No?
Tuesday's the 10th.
I can't. Yeah. And we're going to be it's actually a fundraiser. I was going to tell Jeffrey about it because it's in his town. It's a fundraiser for a mission that feeds the homeless and needy. And they're serving about 70 to 100 families a day, which is just, they said it keeps growing and growing. But it's a fundraiser for that and a silent auction. And then they're going to be one of 6 artists competing. And first place is like $1,000 studio time.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's really, and
yeah, so we're excited.
That'll take all of 15 minutes to use up.
Oh yeah, I know.
Studio time is expensive, but
actually, Wind Beneath My Wings took 7 hours in the studio.
I know, but it was well worth it, and
it was worth it, yeah.
And I tell you, Mary, thank you for bringing Jeff to me. It's I really have enjoyed our conversation today.
Well, you're both amazing people, so I'm like, amazing people need to meet each other.
That's it. And he's an amazing man with a mission, and that mission may not generate, you know, like I told him, he may not be blockbuster guy, but he's going to be filmmaker with a heart guy.
Yeah, but something, because after this will be the next project, right, Jeffrey?
Well, I don't want to put the horse in front of the cart too soon, or the cart in front of the horse, but you never know.
I'm predicting it.
I never say never, but
it gets in your blood. You know that. You won't be able to stop.
I know.
It's crazy. Mary's doing so much with the show she's doing, and now it's going to 2 days a week, and she's doing all these cool stuff with the girls and with Tennessee, and going to charity functions and that kind of stuff, and taking care of not one, not two, but 3 kids that in the past had disabilities of one way or another. I think Lily is just nothing short of amazing. She's the middle child, and she wasn't able to speak for a couple of years. And
right, she and Carson both, yeah.
And so
and now you can't get him to shut up. So that's what I get.
It's that's why he's going to be a stand-up comic. I tell you.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? Yeah, it's amazing. But we're so grateful to know Jeffrey and to know you, and it's surround yourself with positive people, and positive things will happen in your life.
Oh yeah, exactly. Now, by the way, if you are a subscriber of the LA Tribune, we are now a podcast of record on their newspaper. So go there as well. We have to go. Jeff, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just check out my website where all the info is right there at morethanafilm.com.
And Mary?
Yes. Oh, where to find me?
Yeah, please.
Oh, okay. MaryEJackson.com. Or you can go to the Brushwood Media site, the network, and look up shows, and you'll find Kevin's show there and my show, Cover to Cover.
Exactly. This has been a great day for me. I got to interview the family that's on the show, and they are amazing as well. So,
oh yeah, that family that those 7-year-old who just bought their house.
Yeah, the 7-year-old who bought a house. It's like a great story. So I want to thank.
Need a T-shirt.
Indeed, I want to thank everybody for being here, and we'll see you next time. And go to the Brushwood Media Network. It's a great network, and there's all kinds of really good shows, including Cover to Cover and Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. So go there, and I hope everybody has an awesome, awesome day. Thanks for listening to this episode of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. Our purpose is to provide everyone with a positive, entertaining, and educational experience. I would love your feedback and comments about the show, including possible topics and great guest suggestions. Please email me at kevin@kmmedia.pro. And remember, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. That's Kevin at KM Media.